All right, this is John Eason, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So, how are you? Where are we calling you from? Where are you at?
Right now, I'm in Cordele, Georgia. I was in Macon, Georgia last night, and then I'm headed back to Tennessee.
Are you actually out playing shows, or are you?
Yeah, I'm out playing shows right now as a solo act.
Oh wow! How are you pulling that off?
I've got a good booking agent, and we're just finding the places that are letting people come out and play. They can't really do the full band stuff, but they're doing the solo stuff. So.
And you're getting people. You're getting a turnout. I mean, people are actually coming out.
Oh yeah. I played a show in Florida on Sunday and Saturday, and we packed the bigger beer garden there. I had people drive 2 hours to come see a show because everybody's hungry. They want to see a concert. They want to see somebody play.
Do you feel kind of scared about maybe like people getting sick from doing that?
You know what? It's kind of me is I'm live and let live. It's the thing. I know people who've took every precaution in the world and they've caught this virus, and I know people who have not done anything and they haven't caught it. So it's kind of, an odd little thing, but it's just kind of, I don't think we can stop our entire lives for something.
There's like ways of playing the shows in a safe manner, just like like here in Helsinki where I am, you're supposed to have seating for everybody. So you can have like your party of people, you can have a table and sit down and watch the show, which is, of course, like I play metal, so it's a little weird. Sitting people, but anyway, you can still do it. It's not like and the whole like event industry can't take it. Like it's not going to survive if we just completely stop doing the shows. The venues are going to die, and like the companies are going to die, and so on. So yeah, we shouldn't stop everything. Just do it in a smart way.
And they did some of that too there. Everybody's spacing their seating out more than they normally would, which is good and bad for them. You're getting people in, but you're not allowed to get in what you normally would. And then, we were further away on the stage. We didn't have a crowd big right there on the stage doing anything. And that's everybody's still following the capacity guidelines and the distancing and the masking and stuff like that. So there's precautions that are in place and things like that. And you're just trying to, we're all trying to do the best we can and still live life.
Cool. Right. Give us some, I don't know if you know this, but we usually do heavy metal interviews, but we've started branching out into something called Side Dish, where we interview all kinds of different genres, and it's actually doing pretty well for us.
Cool.
Give us the 2-sentence boardroom pitch about what you're about.
As far as what my music is for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Let me think here. 2-sentence boardroom pitch. That's a tough. If I had to say anything, to me, I call it real music. I don't try and put it into a box. Most people call it country. A lot of people call it outlaw these days, but I just call it real. It's kind of a mix of Hank Jr. and Leonard Skinner and a little bit of blues thrown in there, and a little piece of all the other artists and people that I've met.
That works. That's perfect.
Cool. Lyrically, what do you kind of go for? Do you have a message you want to convey, or what?
Well,
go ahead.
See, for me, lyrically, I do put a lot of real stuff into my music. I served in the military, and so I suffer from PTSD. So that's always near and dear to me. And I try and write songs that speak about that. And I like to do things that I've lived. I don't like to try and, of course we have the story songs and different things that you come up with, but I'd much rather lyrically write songs about things that I've lived or stories that I've heard from people that are real, because I think at the end of the day you connect with those kind of things. If a song doesn't have heart and there's no heart to a song and there's no soul to it, then I think that's a song you're going to forget. And I always tell people about this. I said that pop is great, because it's meant to be popular. It's meant to be something that's fun. It's kind of cotton candy coated, but a lot of time there's no feeling inside of it. It's something you can hear and think that's fun, and then you kind of forget about it.
Right.
But the music that I like is, even though it might be sad or it might be this, is the stuff that you're going to remember 10 years from now when you remember, oh man, I was sitting with my buddy and that Johnny Cash thing came on and I thought, hot damn.
Well, yeah,
right.
you say you suffer from PTSD. Now that's a pretty serious diagnosis or situation. How do you deal with it?
Music has really been the biggest thing. So for a long time, I did the get a real job thing, which I hate, but it got me to live some life, and I got to see some things that I probably wouldn't have if I'd have pursued music at first. So I suffered for quite a while and couldn't figure out how to get things right. Spent 4 years really doing every drug that I could find and drinking the way to the bottom of every bottle I could find, while trying to live life, and finally came out the other side of it and said, I just can't get rid of this itch of music. And immediately when I started getting back in touch with that, I started to feel better, and I started to get back in touch, and I started to put my emotions and things that I was dealing with into the songs. And I started to try and be more open about the PTSD with people and just let people know what it was. And when I stopped trying to hold everything in and not let people give me a helping hand, and let people be there for me and then share that with people, it started to become something that was, I would say, manageable. Just like any disease, you have dark days, but you just try and come out the other side of it. I mean, just like anything, the first thing in it is taking that first step. And then you take a second step, and then you just try and keep moving. We have a song that's called Brother, I've Been There that is going to be on my second album, probably at the end of next year. And it literally says, look, take the first step, and the spark's going to catch on fire.
Nice.
Did you find the VA a big help in dealing with PTSD?
Not at all, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I don't want to put them down because they do a lot of good and they do help a lot of people out, but the system is broken. It is flawed. And it's very bureaucratical on how you have to go through and do things. It's not like, I have friends who weren't in the military, but then they suffer from depression. Well, they just go to their doctor and they come back with meds. Well, it's 4 visits to get through to see somebody, and it's an intern that you talk to 4 or 5 times. And then you finally get to see somebody, and it's irritating. And, within anything, PTSD, depression, anger issues, all it does is it feels like it compounds everything. So it just makes you want to scream.
And that's a shame because, you've put your time in and done your service to the country, and to be treated like that is kind of sucky.
It definitely is. But they're working on it. It's been a broken system for a while.
Right.
They're still having issues dealing with Agent Orange from, previous wars and getting those things corrected. But there has been light shined upon it. And, there was the act that was put in that if you don't feel like as a veteran that you're getting the care you need to, you can go to a normal doctor and then the VA has to cover it.
Oh, okay.
So there are avenues that are being put in place and in legislation and things like that. And then there's the VFW and other people who are constantly down in, DC, and they're working on this stuff and trying to get things better. So there's flip sides of everything. So there's good and bad.
Sure. Absolutely.
I ask because I'm from Canada. So,
okay.
I live in DC now, but I ask because I'm just learning about how everything works down here, really.
Sure.
So I hear a lot about the VA and everything else. So I was just curious if they were helping you out.
Sure. I mean, right now I can go in there, and if I can bear to get through all the red tape and everything, I can get the things that I need, and I don't have to pay for it, which is a blessing. Healthcare is not something that's cheap or easy to deal with.
Oh God,
in
no.
the U.S.
Yeah,
dude, no. When I first moved down here, I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah. I've picked up a few medications before I started using the VA when I had personal insurance. I thought, holy shit. And then, I mean, insulin, thank God they just passed the stuff on that and lowered the price of it recently. Because, I mean, holy crud.
Oh, I know. Down here, like in Canada, a vial of insulin is like between $5 and $20.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
For the month.
I live in evil socialist Finland where, health is relatively free. Of course, it's a little something. But we were like, we all have health issues. I've had like surgery on my hand, and I was just comparing like experiences with Bruce, where like I just went to like a private doctor who referred me to the public side. I saw a surgeon once, went into surgery, and all of that cost me like 125 euros, all of it done and fixed. And then I got like subsidized by the city because I have a kid who at that was like a year old, and I've split with the dad, so I was there alone with one hand and a toddler, so kind of impossible.
Right.
So like then the city where I live, they paid for these vouchers for me to get help here at my house. For like I think it was like 60 hours or something, and we managed to sort of juggle that. So had to then pay for some help as well, but that you're not left on your own. And I hear you talking about like the help that you get, and it's I only hear you say meds, but is there any like help like where you just talk to somebody? Is that available? Like meds alone I don't think really fix anything.
They have they put a lot of new things in place for that. They have a whole health concept, that's been around for a couple years now, and they're really starting to push in a lot of companies and industries. So they're starting to do that. So they're adding more things that are more, I guess you'd call holistic type things, where it's, group therapy where you can talk with each other. You can just talk to a therapist. They also do like acupuncture they offer now. Which is crazy to me. And then they also do Tai Chi classes. So they do things that, try and help and do that. But one of the things I found the most that helps me was not going through that avenue of like a professional person to talk to, was finding people who suffered the same way that I do. And we just got together and talked, and we kind of shared, not in a professional way, but just talked to each other and said, hey man, I got your back. You got my back. And if you need me at 3 a.m., call me. And if you need this. And so that's been my biggest thing. And when I meet people, veteran or not, who suffer, because there's other people who suffer PTSD that's not from combat, and tell them same thing. Say, hey man, I know what you're going through. I've been there, and you ain't got to stay there. If you ever need help, just come talk to me.
That's awesome.
That's really.
We need a lot more of that.
Yeah. I honestly, I tell people all the time, because there's a lot of people who don't want to share, who've been through traumatic situations, and they want to keep it inside. And I think that's like poison, and that might sound a little bit cliche. We're keeping our emotions in, but you know what? Getting it out and telling people what I went through, because some people are like, oh man, most people won't talk about this. I said, well, keeping it in me it's black and it's dark, and getting it out, is getting rid of it. So it's like taking poison out of my body by sharing what I've been through.
That's awesome.
We should get back to music, though.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever listened to us, but we're kind of all over the board. So sorry about that.
We call it a casual. Right. We call it a casual conversation, so people get to know the artist instead of like how the band name came or how this song came about or whatever.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it.
In the end, and I've heard this from the people in the metal realm, and I'll ask you in the country realm as well, do you find that music is like some of the best therapy?
Honestly, yes. I mean, for me, it is 100% the best therapy, especially when I'm out playing. I mean, picking up a guitar and writing at home and doing stuff always puts a smile on my face. But I don't care, out of all the things I've done in my life and the drugs and things I've put in my body, there is no high better than getting on stage and playing music to me. It's just adrenaline. I could be dead tired and show up to a venue, and you put me on that stage, and I'm high on life.
Amen, brother.
That's pretty awesome. If fans want to find you, are you pretty active social media wise?
I am active on social media. I hate it, but I am active. I constantly feel like I need to be telling people what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I should have posted that. I ate a hamburger. It's things like that. And so, but I am pretty active on there. I do talk to people because that's how you make your fans these days. And it's how people kind of communicate and do things. So we have to adapt to the world that we live in. So I've got the Facebook. It's John Eason Country. And then Instagram, which is John Eason Music. And then I have my own website. That is www.johneasonmusic.com. So.
And I kind of cut the rest of them off. Riina or Kris, you got anything else?
No, thanks for joining us.
And thank you
guys.
Thank you for your service, and thank you for being open and honest. I appreciate that.
No, not a problem at all. Like, you gotta share. You gotta be candid with people. That people want the real deal, not the fake stuff.
I 100% agree. And I think it shows up in your music and everywhere else. So that's great.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Be well, my friend.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks. Right out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.